Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning. Good morning, Sheka. Good morning, everybody. And welcome to Saturday PD with Sheka and Tammy of Create and Educate LLC. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We just had another incredible session with Principal Sean Hurt. And as usual, he was absolutely incredible. I want to say thank you so much, Principal Hurt, for providing us with that desperately needed information on why it's so important to have African American males in our classrooms and why it's important to tap those young men now. Thank you. That was absolutely amazing. We appreciate the information, sir. And of course, you guys know we are so looking forward to Principal Kafele's fire that will come in just a few minutes. We're so humbled to be in the middle of two such mighty men and educational giants. Shika and I are practitioners that offer professional development for leaders, leadership teams, and to staffs. She and I have between us over 40 years of experience in education, and the two of us have both served as teachers. Shika has been an assistant principal. We've both been principals, and we both worked at the district level as administrators. And we can honestly say that no matter what position we have served in, we've found that collaboration has been the one thing that has ensured us the most success. And we like to model this through this PD that we do each Saturday morning, because many times as leaders, you hear things like people are so stressed because they are having to do this work all alone and everybody's working in silos. But we know firsthand that it does not have to be lonely at the top. Through collaboration, Shika and I, along with our amazing school teams, were able to turn our schools around. We had unsatisfactory rated schools, and Shika was able to move her school 2 report cards in 1 year, which is a middle school. And we were able at my elementary school to move our report card rating 3 report card levels. And a great deal of that story is actually captured in a case study that is done by NWEA. And that case study is actually on our website. We can provide you with the link to our website in just a few minutes. We have actually collaborated with leaders across the country that have helped us to achieve the goals that we wanted to achieve for our schools. And as such, we want to pay it forward and help other educators achieve their goals. So that is the reason that we founded Create and Educate LLC. Some of the best PD that we ever had has come from practitioners who are in the field providing their experiences and their knowledge. And we decided that we just couldn't keep that to ourselves, that we have to pay that forward because people have invested in us. So please visit our website at www.createandeducate.solutions. You can check out our book, Women Who Lead, and that book can be purchased from my website as well. And another place that's really important for us that we model collaboration, and it shows that it's at the core of the philosophies that we have with collaborating, was that project where women leaders were able to come together and provide great leadership tips for leaders in all arenas and areas of life. So please also, while you're on the website, check out the virtual experiences that we have for schools. We are saying it's for kids, but we know that the adults are enjoying it just as much as our kids are. These virtual tours are actually a part of the work that we are doing with helping independent authors get their books more readily available into schools. So if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to us and let us know as well. I know that you've seen the graphics before on the low percentages of students of color who see themselves represented in text And we feel like that's something that has to change. Just like Principal Hurt this morning was talking about getting Black males into schools, we're trying our best to get books that are representative of children of color into schools as well. We feel like we have to change this. So, one way that we have decided that that narrative can change is by purchasing books from independent authors. We have many of those authors listed in our catalog, and that catalog is actually provided free to leaders and to parents because we know how important representation is. Also, in the catalog, you can see all of the professional development that we offer to schools and to corporations. We really love the work that we do, and that's because we are truly educators from the heart. We know that we only scratched the surface last week when we were talking about literacy. So we're going to revisit literacy and complete that discussion. But this morning, we are so super excited that we're going to go on and we're going to be sharing from a topic that is the final piece of our real acronym, and that's leadership. This is something that Shika and I are both very, very passionate about, and we look forward to talking with you about it this morning. This, of course, is a part of that conversation on Create and Educate's 5 super strengths to a resilient school. We're so excited, and I mean, even more excited that this morning we could share with you our trademark visual that goes with those super strengths. We're using this framework to work with schools in Ohio, in Michigan, and we're excited to add Louisiana very soon. If you have professional development needs, please feel free to let us know because we are here to help to meet those needs. We are, as I said, elated to be able to get started this morning and talk with you about leadership. Shika, you ready to dive into that discussion on leadership, especially when we're trying to
I,
lead in such difficult times?
yes, I am Tammy. And just to add to what you were saying, everything that Principal Hurt talked about was definitely on point and
Yes.
truly fits into our core philosophies about representation. Not only, just when we're talking about in books and in text, but at the school as well. Children need to see possibilities and they need to see, themselves represented in every area of the school. And Black males are definitely needed in schools. So thank you, Principal Hurt, for that
Yes. Thank
information.
you.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you to everyone who is joining us this morning. I've put the comments up, but I see Miss Reed, Dr. Gaskins, Miss Corbett, Principal Kafele is with us, Principal Josh Tovar is with us, LaPortia Davis, and Tracy Stevenson. So thank you all for joining us this morning. And as Tammy talked about, our framework that I just showed is rooted in the research of Ronald Edmonds, who was the director of the Center for Urban Development at Harvard, and he developed 7 correlates where he found schools that were high poverty, high minority, but still high performing during a time in 1966 when the Coleman report came out, and it was talked about that African American children could not meet the marks of their Caucasian counterparts, and so he refuted that information with his study. So our work is rooted in his effective schools research. And for leadership, clear in school mission and a sound instructional leader is what's listed for the correlates. But we know that in order to be an effective leader, you definitely have to have a clear school mission and be a sound instructional leader, but you also have to have a really good pulse on your school. And what we've noticed just from conversations with school leaders, Tammy is definitely in that position and has opened her school this year, so she knows from her own experience. And
Absolutely.
just from reading articles, reading people's comments that we collaborate with on Facebook. This has been a tough year, a tough start to the year. I think it was a little bit demoralizing to feel like, you know, this year we were going to hit the ground running, we were going to make up for everything that happened last year. And it seems like this year we may be, in some states, a little bit worse off than we were at the start of the previous year. So that has impacted morale. And we definitely know that leaders are facing lots of challenges. And we know from the research that the biggest impact on a school or a classroom is the teacher, but the biggest impact on a school is the leader. And right now, in some places, Rome is on fire. So it really is.
Yes.
And, you know, we can't just keep talking about things like there's no fire. And I used this analogy earlier, and I talked about it on a different platform. Somebody mentioned, you know, in a school, when the leader coughs, the rest of the school, the rest of the building catches a cold. So if we're not taking care of our leaders, and I'm talking about now from the state standpoint, from the legislature standpoint, and the district standpoint, if we're not taking care of our leaders, then all we're doing is a house is on fire. They're in there with the suit on and with the hose, and they're putting out the fire. And if we're coming in with a clipboard with no suit and no hose saying, oh, well, you know, the curtains in the living room are burning, this bedroom is on fire, that is not helpful. So we really have to support leaders, not telling them things that they already know, not going in to do an analysis of what we know is there, but really give them true help, true support. And right now, I see a lot of people put in the comments social and emotional learning, and we can't just do talk about the social and emotional learning of the children. We've got to support social and emotional with the leaders and the teachers as well. We have to support our adults so that our children can truly be supported in schools. And I'm not sure that that is happening everywhere. Tammy, from your perspective as a leader, what do you need right now to say that you're really receiving support? What does that feel like? Because sometimes I don't think we ask the right questions.
Right. And see, I think it really depends on what the need of the school is. Like right now, I need just some moral support with we've
Mm-hmm.
opened, and I am doing everything I can to make sure that the teachers stay encouraged, because the one thing that is different about this year, that I think we came into the year a lot less prepared, because we, I don't know, maybe assumed that things were just magically going to go back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're seeing in our schools that is very disheartening and frightening to teachers is a high number of cases where students are being infected with the virus. And that
Mm-hmm.
was not a part of our reality last year. I'm not sure if that's because we had more safety measures in place, with the plexiglass being in the classrooms, and the requirements for the mask, and it was just, or if it's just the Delta variant that is, kids are more prone to get. I can't say what the difference is completely, but there is a difference. And what happens is that weighs on the minds of the teachers. And when the teachers are worried because half of the class is in quarantine, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even relate to something that happened at school. It could be quarantine based on um, positive cases in their homes. It's
Mm-hmm.
the reason doesn't matter. What
Right.
matters is the kids are still not physically there. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing everything I can every day to keep them encouraged, to let them know that we are very empathetic to the fact that this is the reality that we have, to face while we are trying to get the work of school done. And
Mhm.
the gaps that you were talking about, like when they came to us at the end of the last school year, this was going to be the year of academic recovery. You're going to get in there and you're going to recover the loss that the kids had on this year. the,
Mhm.
the issue is you can't recover when kids aren't there. Now, theoretically, that was going to be a great way for us to move forward because we weren't going to have kids who were going to be missing out because of virtual. But the reality of life happens. And then when you start having to deal with the situations as they arise in the school, you just have to be flexible. And that's what I
Right.
need. The support I need is
Mhm.
the flexibility of doing the right things for the children and the teachers that are in my charge. I have been charged with being responsible for this group of people, and I need to be able to support them and to do what I need to do to make sure that they're okay. And that
Mhm.
includes my parents and my community. So the support I need, Shika, I guess, is I need for whomever, and this starts with my immediate support at our district, and then to the state, and even on up to the national level. We need
Mhm.
to be realistic about what
Yes.
we're facing right now, and we need to attack that from a perspective of let's do what we have to do to get done what we need to get done, not based on this is the year that you have to recover. This is what
Right.
we're expecting from you. This is what I want you to get done with your goals for the year, because we're
Mhm.
going to work towards goals. There's not an administrator that I know who's
Right.
going to say that they don't want their school to move forward, because we
Exactly.
do. That's the work that we do. We want our
Mhm.
schools to be successful. So you're not going to have an administrator who's chilling and saying, "Oh yeah, we're just going to take it easy." However, what you need to be, I think, at this time, mindful of when you're making decisions about what happens and what you're expecting is give the principal the latitude to do what needs to be done, and make sure that the expectations are realistic based on the situations which in which they're facing, because
Right.
someone has it worse than me. And I
Mhm.
know this. I know that schools have many more kids out than I do. Schools
Right.
have many more teachers out than I do. I haven't had a staff on quarantine yet.
Mhm.
So that is, again, to my advantage while someone else is struggling in that area. I think they're
Right.
going to have to be responsive to us and figure out, like, it's not a one size fits all.
It's
It
not.
can't be. You got to
And
figure out what I need.
right. And Jasmine Harris has a really good point about several staff members have experienced trauma.
Yes.
School leaders have experienced trauma. So many people have experienced loss. And if we're just going in, oh, well, it's that time, the children are back. It's time to go back. That is not the right approach. We have to go in and assess where
Yeah.
people are, and you can't determine where people are from inside of an office. You have to talk to people and find out what has gone on with them. You have to talk to your leaders because they have a different type of relationship with their staff than us at the district level. So it has to be open lines of communication, and it has to be the opportunities for communication. So it can't be that we're just on a meeting following an agenda, that
Okay.
and then that's not an SEL check-in when we're on a meeting and I saw you on the screen, but I still have not determined how you're doing emotionally, what the emotional needs are of your staff, how things are going in your building. So we need real check-ins for that. And some
And I
people,
saw Jasmine said that. I think that is absolutely incredible,
it
because
is.
if you don't have that, then it weighs on you as the administrator. And I can say this too. I'll say this from my superintendent, and you know this, Shika, as one of his employees as well. He does.
Mhm.
He will
Yes, he
text
checks on
and
us.
say, "How are you?
Mhm.
How's everything going? Hope things are going well." And that's very important to know that he's at least thinking about how things are going, especially now when he has some things that he's dealing with himself, you know. So
Right.
we're really thankful to have a superintendent who does check in to make sure that you're doing okay.
Right. And sometimes we from different levels will say what is available. Like we'll say things like, oh, well, don't forget about your EPA assistance, and oh, don't forget about self-care. But those also are not SEL check-ins. That's information. And most people in education are very up on getting information. We don't need to know how to get information. We know how to do those things. But true checking in, and some people are doing this by way of just being present, being out there in the buildings, talking to people, and not being there in an evaluatory manner, but just really going to see how people are doing, and talking to people is one way. Some people are using Google Forms as a way of an SEL check-in from a leadership, top leadership standpoint. Some people are, checking in with the school leaders to get information about the building. So I see several comments in the chat about starting off with positive quotes. I think that is great. A great way to keep things positive with the staff, encouraging and uplifting to people. But some places really are going through lots of challenges, and we really can't continue to operate from the same premises that we used to before. Our entire world has changed. My husband works for the government, and that industry, I read in an article where the United States Postal Service used to be one of the types of jobs people would just, it was great to get one of those jobs. They are looking for 103,000 people. So, we talk about shortages. It's not just in education, it's everywhere. And we've got to really change how we are recruiting, like Principal Hurt talked about. But we also have to look at how we're retaining people, and responding to people's needs is one of the ways that we're going to retain people. So this went fast today.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we got to get out of here.
yeah,
But
we
before
gotta.
we go, I do want to just say this to Jasmine's comment about how the laws and guidelines are changing every day.
They
And I
are.
think that speaks to the flexibility that we need. And what we need is just like something changes. I can't say to my teachers, "Oh, you should have known that."
Hmm.
You this is the new expectation. You should have known it. What we have to do is make sure that we're all in this together and that
Right.
we are supporting one another. And that's why I'm thankful for the people who are there to serve as support systems. And I say to this, to you guys as leaders, we are, I promise, getting out of Principal Kafele's way, but we have to say this because this is another thing that Sheka and I have found that keeps you sane, helps you survive. It just like you tell your teachers, if you need to come in the office and vent, I got you. Come on
Hmm.
in. But at some point, you also need that space. You need a trust mate,
Hmm.
somebody who you have that space with where you can just go and pour out yourself so that you can be refilled because you have to be replenished.
Yes,
Cannot do the work if you are beat down and downtrodden and overwhelmed. You've got to make space to be able to rejuvenate yourself so that you can lead and be impactful for your teachers, your students, your families, the
that's true.
community.
Thank you, Tammy. That is so true. And we have stated that since we've come on from the beginning. In every platform that we talk about, we are one another's trust mates. And the challenges that you're facing, the challenges that I'm facing, we talk about them, and we talk about real solutions as to how to solve them. And from our vantage point, try to implement things that actually make things better, not just, sitting around talking about it or being a gossip, but really making sure, like, well, what can we do to make it better? How can we make this better for not just ourselves, but for everyone? So that is one of the reasons why we do the Saturday PD, because we know that a lot of people don't have those trust circles, and you may not have that person to bounce things off of. So if that is what you need, we're here. Reach out to us if you need help in your leadership role this year. We know that it's tough. We're out there with you. We can identify, and we are thankful for you all joining us. Please hop over
Absolutely.
to Principal Kafele's page. He has
And thank you for
probably,
the prayers. We're praying too for all of you.
yes, we
We're
are.
all in this together.
We
And
are.
we dare not interfere with King of Phele, who's getting ready to come on and give us
Yes.
some fire. So thank you guys for joining us. We
Yes.
really, really appreciate you.
Thank you. And we're hopping over too. So thank
Yeah.
you all. Have a
All right.
great rest of your week.